Akira listeners, let's learn sumo. I'm Clayton. Welcome to the podcast. Don't forget to join me on Insta and X at Let's Learn Sumo. Also on YouTube, where this is an audio broadcast restreamed on YouTube. This is not a video. Occasionally there's videos. You can join me on YouTube, but the bashos are all streamed on audio, restreamed on YouTube. Day 3, Osaka Grand Sumo Tournament. Starting to take a little bit of shape, our Yokozuna faced Wakamoto Haru. Magashira won West in the last match of the evening. Wakamoto Haru has a bit of a bad record against Hoshoryu. Hasn't beaten him in 2 years, almost 10 matches behind. Look, big Nodowa from Hoshoryu as he goes into drives in to get to the belt hard. Hoshoryu doesn't quite get the belt. He has a high under-shoulder grip on Wakamoto Haru. He then starts pulling back and pulling around, almost a Kotanage arm lock throw. He eventually gets enough purchase to pull Wakamoto Haru around, but just at the last minute he transitions to a headlock. It's a Kubanage as Wakamoto Haru goes down. 2-1 to the Yokozuna. Fairly easy in the end for him. 2-1 to Wakamoto Haru. Next fight, Onosato. He's proving to be a pretty good Ozeki. He just gets stronger and more match aware as he moves through these tournaments. Goneyama tried hard to drive him back, and Onosato was looking for the belt as he went backwards. Onosato then drove forward. He was trying to solidify the belt grip, get in there. I think Goneyama panicked a little bit, withdrew in a hurry, tried for an arm pull, but just wasn't quite getting it on Onosato. He ended up back at the bales. He had nowhere to go. Onosato drove him over fairly easy. Oshidashi, 3-0 for Onosato. Goneyama struggling at that point. 1-2, I think, now. On to the next fight. Kotazakura Ozeki Karaban. He's in trouble versus Abi. Abi went for the big, massive double Nodowa neck thrust, but Kotazakura, he drove Abi back to the bales, but just couldn't finish him off. He tried hard. Abi went lateral across the bales. As he retreated, Kotazakura attacked, but Abi got a really good and well-timed parry deflection as Kotazakura was going forwards. The deflection allowed Abi to get to the side as Kotazakura kind of skipped and crossed his feet in the air trying to retreat. Abi chased him and drove him out with momentum. Look, it was a pretty bad loss for Kotazakura. I think he was trying to be fast when his strength is balance, not speed. I think he's being forced into tactics that perhaps don't suit him in that situation. Anyway, 1-2 for Kotazakura. Not a great start so far. 3-0 for Abi. Daisho just demolished Wakataka Kage. Look, of course, Daisho was trying to get the Sapari threshing going, and Wakataka Kage was trying to get in close to shut down that Sapari thrusting, but a wrong time, a wrong move, a wrong foot position, and a brutal thrust at the right moment with the right shoulder action, and Wakataka Kage was flying backwards, landing on his back in the ring. A more brutal and effective Suki Teoshi thrust down you are unlikely to see again real soon. That one would have hurt Wakataka Kage to his center, I suggest. Daisho 2-1. Wakataka Kage, not a great start in the Joy, 0-3. Oho sorted Tobizaru out with a really effective hit to the face, which unbalanced Tobizaru. A few follow-up thrusts, and Tobizaru was sent into the alley, and he just about needed a taxi to return to the ring. He went that far. Oshidashi was the win there. 1-2 for Oho. He finally gets a win. Tobizaru is winless. Kirishima, he had to work hard against Chiyoshima, put up a pretty good defense to the former Ozeki. They both got an inside belt grip. Look, they struggled for dominance for a bit. Kirishima had one loose strand on Chiyoshima's belt. He had it fairly loosely wrapped. Tried to pulled Chiyoshima around with the open belt throw and a hand on the back, but didn't get much success there. A bit more of a struggle. They moved to the bails. Chiyoshima tried to take advantage of Kiroshima's arms as he tried to lift him a little bit. Kirishima had the belt, pulled Chiyoshima around, looking for that Wata Dashinage open belt throw again. He finally got Chiyoshima into a side position for a push out, frontal force out win, Yorakiri. Kirishima 2-1, had to work for it. Chiyoshima 1-2. Look, even when winning, Ura finds himself in some funny positions. Look, a reasonably regular style of tachiai, a little bit low for Ura as usual. Takanosho got a really good deflection on Ura, which unbalanced him. Ura, he re-engaged and Takanosho tried for her takikomi as Ura retreated. He grabbed Takanosho's arm, pulled him through Tatari arm pull with a little bit of an akuri dashi rear push out to make sure. But Ura was kind of just as he got the Tatari and stood out of the way, he was fully stretched up in this very unusual stance after the high pull. Looks a good screenshot. If nothing else, Tatari arm pull is the call. Ura 2-1, doing okay. Takanosho struggling again, 0-3. It was a night of deflections as Takayasu got one on Ichiyamamoto, which put him off balance and under pressure at the bails, allowed Takayasu to get a takikomi as Ichiyamamoto went down front ways, kind of almost forced down to the doyo rather than slapped down. 3-0 for Takayasu, 1-2 for Ichiyamamoto. Hirodumi versus Takeru Fuji was always going to be a fast-moving match, massively fast and slightly early tachiai by Hirodumi. If you watch closely, I don't think Takeru Fuji even touched the dirt, a little bit of Takakeisho style there, before Hirodumi was across to Takeru Fuji's start line. Takeru Fuji went straight under Hirodumi's armpit, tried to pull him over Sukuinage, beltless arm throw. Somehow Hirodumi goes up on one leg but recovers and then drove Takeru Fuji out. Big forceful drive, Hirodumi 2-1, Takeru Fuji 2-1. Shodai, he lost to a thrusting Kimbozan. Pretty good effort there by Kimbozan. Tamawashi, he got a good deflection on Hakuoho, which put Hakuoho on a really bad position at the side, allowed a big drive by Tamawashi on the younger Rikshi. Tami Fuji, good easy Yorakiri win over Oshoma. Lots of body pumping going on there. Endo, he got a win after the Gunbai went to Shononumi in the first place. Endo, he was retreating hard with a chasing and falling Shononumi. The replay showed that the top of Shononumi's foot dragged on the surface, probably a micrometer before Endo left the bails and touched down. The Shimpans had a mono-e and overturned the original decision to Shononumi and gave the fight to Endo. Look, a fast-moving Midori Fuji in his beautiful red mawashi. He used Nishikigi, got him in a big double arm lock, which, you know, it's the old Terunofuji arm lock. Had him both arms to effect. Midori Fuji has this effect of pulling away fast from that sort of arm lock, got Nishikigi off balance, and to the side allowed a really big sideways driving push for the win for Midori Fuji. 2-1 for him, going well. Look, probably the strangest, I say strangest Kimarite, but I did go through the list of all of the Kimarite to find another one. Shishi versus Tsuranumi. Shishi tried to get under the arm of Tsuranumi off the tachiai, but he was denied. Tsuranumi disengages and tries to drive, but Shishi gets a really good side deflection as Tsuranumi goes across the ring backwards. Tsuranumi recovers and Shishi and he came together in what can only be described as a double pushing deflection hit where they both go in different directions, which sent Shishi across the bails, dancing on the Tawara and going out as Tsuranumi spun and fell onto his behind in the middle of the ring. Shishi got the win as Tsuranumi went down, and the Oyakata up in the replay room gave it an Oshitayoshi frontal pushdown. Look, watching in slow-mo, if I'm fair, there was a double push on each, but it was a deflecting hit. Still, maybe I would have said one of the non-techniques of falling, collapsing on your own, but I am not the oikata. Anyway, a win for Shishi there. So that's night 3 of the Osaka Grand Sumo Tournament. A pretty good night overall, some good deflecting hits tonight. Join me again. Hakioi, let's learn sumo.